Good morning, my family. It's a wonderful life. Yes, today is Redemption Day. I refuse to be defeated by a graham cracker. I got a surprise. Dad, Dad, I succeeded. And we're going to go ahead and make these today. Regular graham cracker, low carb. Both are ultimately amazing. These recipes are my go-to. I wrote them in my book. This is where I will be going from now on. I'm not going through the guessing game. A lot of you have learned to trust me, and I thank you. I may have a very picky palate, but it's for a reason. I don't just feed anybody anything. Number one, it can get costly, especially when we're in the low carb world. I won't do this to you because frankly, I can't afford it either. I waste right now because I'm finding the right recipes. I've been doing this for years before before I even created this channel, because I'm very particular what I feed my family, especially with me and my husband. I've had some of you, oh Lord have mercy, y'all really don't know what you mean to me when I read your comments, and I try to get back to all of you because you do mean that much to me. You are my family. You are my friends. And this isn't just some channel and a show I put out here. You all have no idea what you mean to me. And I guess I'll never express that enough. You really mean that much. My house is so full right now. My cup runneth over. I had one who told me, and I'm with you, sister, I don't really particularly like Brussels sprouts, but that one with the cranberries was amazing. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that. So anyways, we are going to have Redemption Day on these graham crackers, and I'm going to add an extra treat today in a way. I do have a product I want to introduce you all to, and it's really reasonably priced, we'll put it that way. It's going to be a product we're going to use in the kitchen, and I am going to put it to its test. I'm going to undo the boxing of it, and then we're going to turn around and make it low carb apple, well, it's low carb Mediterranean apple cake, and we're going to bake that as well today. Also, throughout this weekend, I am going to be putting a Mediterranean meatball soup. It looks so good. I want to try that. So we're going to be doing that. You know, I take you on the outsides. Now understand, I'm going to get some of you come at me. Apples are not keto. Apples are not low carb. For a diabetic, there is one apple my husband can moderately eat, and that is a Granny Smith apple. In small portions, a diabetic can enjoy this, especially every once in a while. I am not going to deprive my husband just because he's a diabetic. I'm not going to deprive him. Y'all ought to know me by now. I'm going to make sure that this man can enjoy something without being told, here's a rice cake, there you go, that's all you can have. That is not me. And I'm going to turn around, and there are some. Look, my husband's got a sweet tooth. I have to find a way to satisfy that, even if it means a low carb graham cracker. Y'all, this is up to you. I will share the recipe, but I'm not looking to say that I am this ultimate low carb or this keto person. Right now, truthfully, I am waiting till after the holidays to hit going back on track for me. Honestly, I've tried. The holidays are killing me, y'all. I'm getting little puffy cheeks. I can see it right here. But you know what? I'm going to go back on track. I'm going to enjoy life right now. I mean, I gave up so much in my life, including smoking this year. That was a great accomplishment. But it came with some repercussions. So I take my little marshmallow cheeks, and I will wait till after the holidays, and we will be getting back on track. In the meantime, I am enjoying Mediterranean low carb mixed, and I will be doing that just kind of. I've had the other slips into of the All American, and my palate needs to stop doing that, but I'm going to wait. So I hope you still love my puffy cheeks and me. But my husband still stays on track, regardless, because we cannot veer away from that with him. He is diabetic, and I am not going to injure him whatsoever. I don't have, per se, medical issues. I chose to do this because I did not want to be the person I was. I still don't want to be the person I was. I do not want to reach that point. So I am going to have to put the brakes on sooner or later. And it's going to be very sooner than later. So I was heading for pre-diabetes and all that myself. My family history has some issues as well, and I'm trying to avoid that. Welcome to the photo bomber. This would be Smokey. So yeah, sorry y'all. Let's get started. Let's go do the unboxing, and then we're going to hit the kitchen and have some fun because we've got some redemption to do, y'all. All right, my family. So this product is from the company Dowan, D-O-W-A-N. They deal with a lot of cookware and dinnerware. I went through their site, and I will find that they had a lot of good reviews. I do pay attention to this stuff. If I'm going to turn around and be a person who's going to show these products, then I'm going to know what I'm getting into. I'm not going to choose just anything. I try to keep this stuff that that comes to me. Now, it's not a whole lot, but I will try to, keep it reasonably priced. There are two products that they can be a little pricey, but again, please know that somebody might really want these things, and if my review means anything to them, then I will do that. It's not saying that we can all afford it. Look, I've seen many things that I absolutely love. Number one, the Harvest Right freeze dryer. If seriously, that is my ultimate dream to have on this homestead. But I'm not able to afford it, and I'm okay with that. Those who have it, they are blessed, and I see them as blessed. I'm not jealous of them, so I just know that some things I can do, some things I can't. But we are going to try this one. This is actually a baking dish from this company, and we're going to see how it holds up. This dish, I did find out, is about $36. So, and you can find this on Amazon. Naturally, I'm going to include the link with you. But the packaging is amazing. It comes in here pretty decently packaged. And, look, y'all. That's a really pretty dish. Honestly, this is a 9 by 13. It is beautiful. But, will it hold up to an oven? We're fixing to find out, because in this dish we are going to be making the low-carb Mediterranean styled apple cake. So let's go to the kitchen. Let's make our graham crackers first, and then we will make our cake. Okay, y'all, so let's redo this. This is the low-carb graham crackers that we are going to be doing first off. And we are going to start out, this recipe, both recipes will be, well, actually all three, will be in the description for you today. So, we're going to start out with 2 cups of almond flour. You know me, I'm not going to do as much, so. And you're going to want to sift this, by the way. I really do try to be prepared, y'all. I do. Okay. Now let's do this thing. We have our almond flour. Now this one is different. And for those of you who are going to ask, can I do half and half? Half coconut flour, half almond flour. Yes. However, I don't know if the liquids, because coconut flours take a lot of absorption. I don't know the amount of that. So you're going to have to vary in between the eggs and the butter that goes in here to accommodate that extra, for the absorption of that coconut flour. But the different ingredient in here, this almond flour would represent in the normal world our all-purpose. And let's face it, low carb, nothing's ever the same, y'all. We know this, but we can get as close as we can. So the almond flour is replacing our all-purpose. However, the flaxseed meal, the golden flaxseed meal, there are two different types. One you can get at Walmart is a darker. I have learned that the golden has a milder flavor. You can order this on Amazon. To me, it's been so worth it. So I encourage you to use this one. It also doesn't make your food look so dark either, and it doesn't stand out so boldly. But we are going to use 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. This is what replaces the whole wheat in the graham crackers in the normal recipes. It does work. I have tested this, so we need just a tablespoon of this. A little smidgen won't hurt. I kind of cheated myself on that one just a tad. Okay, now we're going to need our sweeteners. And we need 1/3 cup of granulated sweetener. So, and I'm going to use, these are amazing. These, oh my gosh. Miss Gina, I love you to pieces, my dear. See, I've got every metric, U.S. metric in this set right here that I could ever want. I am blessed beyond measure. My cup seriously runneth over. She spoiled me. Alright, so we need 1/3 cup of sweetener. Now, I'm going to tell you what I did in this recipe. I have, out of that 1/3, I have half of that being granulated sweetener of a regular kind. The other half of this is going to be the swerve brown sugar. I found those two working together. First of all, it gives me the coloring of a graham cracker, and secondly, it has an amazing flavor with the sweetness. You can go less if you want to. Make the sweetener your choice, because the sweetness is just that. It's just the sweetness in this recipe. You can make it more or less to your satisfaction. I just found that this works for us. So I actually did half and half. And I'm getting my sweetener now. All right. My husband happens to like sweet, and I tend to like sweet just a little bit less than him. But I'm starting to figure out his flavor balance, so this worked. The recipe does not call for the swerve brown sugar. I will add that in there for just in case you want to. But I just thought it would give it more of an authentic graham cracker flavor, and it worked. I'm tweaking this recipe, to be honest with you. Alright, now I need a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And now I'm going to take this, mix it all together, and I am going to sift this. When it comes to almond flour anyways, you really want to sift it, because I have learned that it can clump so easily. And then same with this brown sugar basically. So you just want to sift this together, and then we will start with our liquids. Alright, so now we have this. We're going to go ahead and mix that up really good. Get this out of my way. And we're going to go ahead with our liquids. We need 3 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. We need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And 1 large egg. Now, if you're doing a half recipe, adding 1 large egg is going to be hard. So we'll be right back. Just a little note. They've always said, and I've heard it, you can't use just half an egg when you have half a recipe. I found it. Quail eggs, they work. Alright, bad joke. Let's get back to the recipe. Alright, so if you are doing half this recipe, let's get serious. You can use a small egg in this. I am actually going to be using 3 quail eggs. It will equal out to about, I guess, a half, even 2 of these because they're jumbos. But they will equal out to about a half of a large egg. So I did this in the first time. It worked perfectly. I'm going to do it again. But I know that not everybody's blessed to have quail eggs. I am, and I don't take that for granted, y'all. I just thought, well, just, you know, sometimes we just need some fun in our life. It's been so serious around here lately, and I'm cutting loose, letting it go. I've hit my breaking point. It's Christmas, and I want my joy, and I am searching my joy today. All right. Oh, and that was a pair of quail egg scissors cutters. These quail eggs, when it comes to cracking them, are nothing like a chicken. They have a harder base inner core that holds it together too much, so you can't just crack them like an egg. So I use these scissors to do that. But homesteading, the things that we have. But I'm blessed to have them, considering my chickens stopped laying for the season and my quails have kicked in. So I have eggs either way it goes. I cannot be happier. And these are highly nutritious. They're also immune boosters, so that'll get me through the winter. So now we're just going to go ahead and add this to our mix. You want to beat those eggs, by the way. Alright, now we're going to mix everything together. And it's going to come to a point, it's going to get harder to mix. And so we're just going to get our hands dirty in this. I don't know, I might be able to do it like this a little bit. Just like so. Yeah, I can do this. I don't need to get my hands too dirty if I didn't want to. But it's cooking, so it ain't me unless I do. I'm just going to go through here and make sure all the bits are there. Now for me, I like to give this a few minutes and let the liquids absorb into that flour and the flaxseed mix. To me, it just helps it a little bit, like when we put our dough in the refrigerator. I'm just going to let this rest. It's not necessary. The recipe does not say that. I did this on this last batch, and it worked exceptionally well. So we're just going to let this sit for a few minutes while we prepare to roll this dough out. You know, I have to say, y'all know how to make a grown woman bawl like a baby. I had a very special visit, and I happened to have one of our subscribers who actually we found in a very odd situation. We live in the same town, and that was so, so beautiful. Miss Barbara is an amazing, amazing person, and to have someone that close to me, just, it touched my heart. God is doing something with me and y'all that I am so, so blessed. But I wanted to share with you folks, how well you connect with me. I've never met Miss Barbara before, and I've lived here for 5 years. We never really ran into each other until recently, until this channel. And she knows me more than I figured anybody could, just like the rest of you. Y'all look how cute this is. Joy, hope, love, and peace. You got because we're always in the kitchen, y'all. We have our mitts and all, and then we've got, oh, the cutest little Christmas truck. I love Christmas trucks. As a matter of fact, my personal vehicle is, yep, you know it. It's a 93 model little red pickup truck. So it's who I am. So thank you, Miss Barbara, so, so much. I have joy bursting over in this little cabin, and in my kitchen. I am so excited to get into it. Y'all, you're just making my kitchen time so much fun. So thank you. Let's get back to cooking now. We have, let me get that out of the way. This is a custom built piece that my husband built for me. It actually forms over the top of my stove to make an extra countertop. I can't particularly find pieces like this long enough for rolling dough. I have struggled. And then he custom built this for me. Let me show you. It's got a lip platform that I can hang on to, and it goes over my stove top perfectly. But I'm not going to cover my stove right now. I'm going to use this on this table so we can roll out our dough. So I don't want it slipping. So I'm going to put a silicone mat down. And then we're going to put our parchment paper down on top of that. So this way it don't slip. And now we've got a beautiful graham cracker dough. Now this has absorbed, and it's not as, it's a little bit more stiff now. It's not as soft. So this is going to roll out perfectly. This is why I let it sit. The recipe, again, does not say that, but I've already told you all I am tweaking this recipe as it is, and I will add the tweaks in it. But I am going to encourage you, it's not necessary. You don't really have to refrigerate it either, but it does help to let this sit and let the liquids absorb into both the flaxseed meal and the almond flour. And now I'm just going to roll this out to a square as much as possible. And right off the bat, let's face it, I'm not of perfection. I can't be perfect, so this is not going to turn out to be the perfect square like the recipe says. Make it a perfect square. I guess they didn't know me, because there ain't no perfection in this old country girl. So we're going to get this out as much as possible. So we will be right back as soon as I get this rolled out, and I will show you our next step. Okay, y'all, so this is about as squared off as I am going to get. Now, just to let you know, this is not the size that you will have. This is my half version of this recipe. Now we're going to go ahead and score this and do the deal what we do with our fork, just to give that look of a graham cracker. And at that point, we will be right back. Now, I will say, I had my lighter rolling pin, but I had to get my heavier one. So, choose one that you can actually roll this out with. Alright, let's make some graham crackers. We're going to take our pizza cutter, and I'm just going to make nice, well, best kind of squares I can. I am not perfect by far. But I'm going to roll this out as much as we possibly can. Now this end I can see is going to be a whole lot thinner, so it is actually going to cook faster. By the way, we've got our oven preset for 325 degrees. So this one here does not take long to bake either. You're going to have to keep your eye on it. There is no specific time on baking these. So they say just basically watch for golden coloring. So now I'm just going to go ahead and prick these like so. Now it's going to look like, now this dough here I've noticed, you can stick it and it's not going to look like you've really done anything, especially if it's super thin. I found that a 1/4 inch thick is a really good size for this. You can go just slightly thinner if you want to. That one's not, these are super thin. These are going to get cooked so fast, so I'll be pulling them off quickly. And I turn this in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead, well, we're almost done here, so we're just going to go ahead and finish off. And to keep this video from going too long, I am going to do both of these, cut this off, and then we are going to do, in another video, I am going to do the apple cake for you. Pretty much give you guys videos for the whole weekend, because I'm actually going to take the weekend off. So I'm going to be doing our supper tonight with the apple cake in the next one for you. So let's get this in the oven and get this baked, and we will be right back. Okay, my family, so first of all, if you've been following me and you have baby sourdough, don't forget to feed and discard from it today. Remember, ratio 1-1-1, 25 grams of starter, 25 grams of your flour mix, and 25 grams of flour. So, hence the reason what happened to this. Watch this low-carb version of graham crackers very carefully. It can get away from you like this one did on me. So I've still got another batch where I was testing, so I have that, but I don't like when this happens. So I'm actually going to cut this away. But you want to rescore this right now. It will be harder later, and they won't break too easily otherwise. So I'm just going to go down here and retrace my marks through here. And at this point, I'm going to call this done. So we're going to let this sit for at least a good 10 minutes to cool off. And the longer you let these cool, the firmer they become and more crispier they become. So they will not be crispy right off the bat, y'all. These will be soft. Well, I'm just going to pull this aside right now. Yeah, these are absolutely done. So we're just going to go ahead and pull this aside, and we'll call this finished for the low carb side, and then we'll start the all-American graham crackers, because I also have a redemption on them as well. These, well, we'll just say, sorry fellas, I didn't mean to ruin you. But we still got crackers that are good, so I'm okay. Yeah, we'll go through this. But anyways, let's go ahead and just make sure you watch better than I did. On my first batch I did. After about 5 minutes, you want to start turning it around, evenly bake this. But this is not a recipe you want to walk away from. The sugars in this recipe will cause the dough to brown quickly. So, and it doesn't take much because they're actually a thin, as you can see that is a thin cracker. Now, you might want to make it a little thicker. I haven't tried it thicker than this. So, let me know if you make these, if you did them thicker and how it came out, so I know different. So, let's get started on the next batch. Alright, my family. Graham cracker number 2. This is the all-American one. So, I did a crazy move. This is supposed to be my brown sugar. We are going to cream together first. The recipe calls for 1 cup of softened butter. You know me, I'm doing half. I already did a test before this, so this will give me way more graham crackers than I absolutely need, but the grandkids will love them. So we got 1 cup of softened butter. We have a half a cup of brown sugar. I also need 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And what I ended up doing, my brown sugar is actually brown, but I kind of was trying to prepare and I stopped because I threw it into my flour. So I had to do hold the brakes, go back to what I'm doing here and not get ahead of myself because I got too many things in my head going on at once. And I'm having squirrel moments. So we're doing our wet ingredients basically. We have our sugars, we have our butter, and we are going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Of course, you know I'm going to put the recipe in the description for you. Right there. And I'm actually going to go ahead and add the honey to this as well. And that would be 2 tablespoons of honey. And you know I ain't going to let this goodness go away from me. It's going all in there. Now you know why I got marshmallow puffy cheeks. Okay, so now we're going to take this to the mixer and cream this. Now, if you don't have a mixer, that's fine. You can use a hand mixer as well. Or you can use your hands if you wanted to. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this to my mixer. We're going to mix this up and then we will be back to add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, y'all, so this is what the creamed ingredients should look like when you get it all blended up well. Now from here, we are going to add our dry ingredients and I will let you know what comes into that. Okay, for our dry ingredients, we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of whole wheat flour, that in there. We have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Let me get this out of the way. And I need to get this. I'll be right back. Okay, you go. I got it together now. Okay, back to this is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Get my half teaspoon out. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan. It's the only kind I use. I won't use anything with iodine. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Go based by your flavor on that. I happen to like cinnamon, so I would probably go just a little bit more than that. I'd go half, but that's based on your preference. I just, like I said, I like cinnamon. And we need, that's it as far as this is concerned. Now we're going to mix this all together. When it comes to the dry ingredients, we're going to add this to the wet. Now, it calls for 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk or water. Either one is fine. All you're going to do is if it starts to look really dry, I will bring you to that point to what it would look like. I will be at that point adding just a little bit. Now I'm going to probably take you half of what it says. Start out with a half a tablespoon at a time so you don't get too much moisture into your crackers. So let's go ahead and mix this up. We're going to put this in the mixer and I will take you from there to what needs to be done if it starts looking too dry. Okay, y'all, so this mixture isn't quite as dry, so I'm really not going to add very much milk to this at all. Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure I would even add milk. I am probably even just going to add maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, and that's about it. Honestly, it's not even look like I'm going to add anything. So I'm actually going to leave the milk out of mine. But if you get it to where it's crumbly, again, just do this at about a 1/2 tablespoon at a time, because you want this consistency right here. You want it to come together. So we'll be right back and what to do next. Okay, y'all, so we want to refrigerate this now for about a 1/2 hour. This is the dough that we want. We have it really soft right now, so we want this refrigerated for a little bit, get that stiffness, let this rest, let the absorption into the flours. Now, I will say I did add about a 1/4 teaspoon of milk to this. However, some of the suggestions as to why I didn't have to add the tablespoons when the recipe calls for it is today, I am finding, especially when I went to make homemade cheese, we use store-bought milk to make our homemade cheese, not ultra pasteurized, but pasteurized. Today, the formulas in our milk is changing, I've noticed, because where I used to have more cream in the milk to make cheese, I could get quite a bit out of it. I'm finding I'm not getting as much anymore. So basically, that means we're getting more watered down milk. And they're calling it pasteurized, so, and whole milk. So this could be part of the reason why there was more moisture in my dough due to the butter. The butter formulas can change just as much as our milks. So it depends on where we get our stuff from. I'm finding, like, even for me with cheese, Aldi's and Sam's Club has been the ultimate place to make milk for my cheese. But you know, I've done Save-A-Lot butter, and Save-A-Lot butter was more watered down than it was cream. So that could be a factor. So anyways, we're going to put this in the refrigerator, let it sit for 30 minutes, and we will be right back. Okay, to show you the low-carb ones now that are completely cooled off, if they will crisp, or if they're crisp enough for a cracker, just like so. I don't know if you can see that, but these are perfectly. So, yes, these work. Just thought I'd show that to you before I put these up. Also, a quick message. I forgot to do this in my last video, and I need to do that now. Many of you, I've had a few come to me privately through email and asking me what was going on, that I needed to check the channel. And somehow, some way, I can't explain it. Maybe it's something YouTube's doing. Maybe it's just the pushback. I don't know. I don't know if it's because everything happens so fast. But folks are saying when they hit the subscribe button to keep up with us, they are finding themselves being kicked out. Please look and see, make sure if you're not seeing me regularly, check your subscribe buttons. Make sure that you hit that bell notification. I'm not begging anybody to do this. What I am saying is, it is being said that some people are finding they keep getting kicked out, and they keep hitting back that subscribe button. So please watch for yours and make sure if you're not seeing me, if this ain't the cause. I've had this happen to me. A few other creators have had this happen to them. So check your buttons, y'all, the subscriptions. Make sure that you are still with us just in case. So we'll get back to what we were doing. Okay, y'all, so just like the other one, we have our dough on top of 2 sheets of parchment paper. And again, we are going to roll this out into a 1/4 inch thick, making this into a square the best way we can. And then we're going to score this, prick this with a fork, just like we did before. And we are going to bake these in a 350-degree oven. So once I get this rolled out, we will come back and show you how to do that process. Okay, y'all, so just like all the others, you're going to take your pizza cutter, form it into squares, just like so. Run it through. Again, these are not going to be, it's not perfectly squared. I'm not looking for perfection. And then just taking docket with your fork, and then we'll get this put in there for the oven at 350 degrees for about 12 to 14 minutes. Now go ahead, in between that time, turn your pan so you can get an even baking, and keep an eye on these as well. You want these to be finished when they are golden brown on the edges of your graham crackers. Once we get these baked, we will be back and I will show you what these will look like. Alright, my family, last step. And again, this is where we will score our cookies very carefully. So that they will come apart. Now, I should have got to this just before they reach this point, but they'll still work. They're still coming apart. So, and then after this, we're just going to let these cool. And they are coming out beautifully crisp. Actually, these might just nicely. Yeah. These are coming apart because I scored them quite well. So we'll just go ahead and break these, let these cool. And that's it, y'all. These are those graham crackers. They do just as well as the other ones. If you find that your centers, if it's thicker and they're not quite done yet, you can always pull these sides out. Let these go back in the oven for just a little while longer. Crisp up just a slight more, and that's it. I mean, these turned out to be my go-to when I want to make graham crackers. And even if I want to make crust out of it from homemade. So we have finished this, and I will set this up because I do have a message for you. All right, my family, and that will conclude this channel here. We did our redemption on our graham crackers, and I am sitting here at the moment blown away. The next video, I have a message to bring to you all, and it's pretty powerful if you ask me. So for now, I went to the store yesterday, and I have noticed that we are starting. Now, I don't know if it's just here. I don't know if it's just the holidays. I don't know what is up. But my point is we went looking around the store. I had to get milk, and I told you I'm on my pantry challenge, so it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop completely going to the store, because there are things I told you that I need. But I look around at this point, and I've been noticing the baking aisle where the flowers are, it was getting pretty thin. And so that's telling me they're not ordering enough. It's going to be called a shortage probably. Pasta, my goodness, the pasta aisle was just about totally wiped out. So I'm noticing various areas of our store becoming empty. When this happens, should this be the thing that's happening everywhere, know this homestead has got you. If there are areas such as pasta that you can't get a hold of, I know how to make homemade. I will teach this step by step. I will do my best to keep us going for as far as we possibly can with what we do have. So just know that you have somebody who's on your side, and I'm going to do my best to take care of you. So much love to each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed this. I will put the recipe for the redemption graham crackers in the description box below. I am fixing to do that baking dish that I showed you in that video. Be looking for the link in case you are interested in it. This is where we're going to work on our review, doing it the best way I know, putting it to use. So I love you all dearly, and until next time, I'm getting ready for 2 more videos for this weekend for you. Mwah! Much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.